Hi everyone, welcome back to the Little Western Model Railway YouTube channel. I'm James, and if you're new here, thank you very much for checking out this video. There are plenty of others, please go and take a look. And if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. It's lovely to see you. So in today's video, we are going to be creating, and I'm going to give you a sneak peek on this, we're going to be creating this. This is version 1 of the control box for Oaken and Brickworks. I'll go into a little bit more detail over the next few videos, but essentially I love being able to control trains through my phone, through the engine driver app with DCC-EX, but I've noticed after playing with it for the last month or so, actually doing some shunting, that I need something physical to be able to change turnouts. And do some visual stuff, have some nice things. Originally I just wanted a mimic panel, but I've decided that I want something actual tactile. So I decided on a control box after watching this video's shout out, which is Hornby Railway Modeler. I'll leave a link to his latest video where I shamelessly stole this idea from him, so go check him out. But essentially, it's taking a craft box, throwing a load of electronics in it, and coming up with a relatively simple and easy control box. So this is stage 1, and we'll see stage 2 and stage 3 later on. But anyway, I'm rabbiting. Let's see how we put this together, shall we? Roll the intro. So here we are at the desk, and I have this box ready. It's pretty spacious. It is inside 22 centimeters by 18.5, and the bottom side is about 5 centimeters deep, and then there is the top side, which is about 2.5 centimeters deep. So it's pretty sizable, but in here I have quite a bit to fit. We have my controller itself, which will go in there somewhere. I have to figure out the best orientation for it. It will probably be like this way, to be perfectly honest, because I want to be able to plug in stuff from the back. So you can see that we have the track power output and the power in and the USB cable here. So most likely that will sit at the back there. We have an LCD screen, although this may change in the future for iteration 2, that I want to stick up in the corner here. So that will go up in that top corner like this. We have a 6-pin connector that I want to stick in here. And this will be a common ground and a common 5V. Because I want to put quite a few push buttons. So there are 10 push buttons that will go in here, each of which will say they will have one cable that will go to a pin to act as the toggle, and then they all need a ground. So all of those will go to one of these. I'll bunch them all together, wrap them all up, and they will all go to one of these as a ground. Then I also have 2 of these power switches, one of which will be to turn on the track power. I could set it to automatically turn on the track power via the DCC-EX program, but I've decided I want to do that with a separate push button just because I can, honestly. And then I'll have a second push button for swapping between programming and mainline running track on the coal siding. So those are the main bits that need to go in there. I do want to put in, probably will have a fan on one side, if not both, eventually, that I will cut in later at a later date. just to keep some circulation coming in so this doesn't get too hot. quite honestly, being a wooden box, don't want it to get too hot, just to be safe. There are also considerations for I want to also have maybe voltage meters in here and an amp meter later, so there's plenty of room on this side. I mean, I can still fit my main phone in there, you know, there's plenty of room in there, so there's not going to be an issue at all. I may opt to put the Arduino more centered, just so that, you know, so having the ground like this and having that more centered like that is probably going to be the better way for me to go about it. Then the idea is that what I will do also is I have a PCA. There is a PCA 9685, which is the servo driver. This will not be in here. This will be out on the baseboard, but there is a connection set here, so you can see that there are already a yellow and an orange, and then there's the 5V in and the ground on these. These make up the same connection. I will create a ribbon for this of an appropriate length, and my idea is that I want to send that out to a connector block that will be on the, I'm going to flip this over now. The idea is that there will be a hole out the back here so that I can plug in the USB cable or the power cable for the actual Arduinos and such in there. There will also be a push-pull fit connector, and any of the output track power or the ribbon for the PCA will all come out to this push-pull, this push-pin connector, so I can disconnect and connect everything, you know, at a later stage if I need to. So if I need to take it off or put it back on or something, then great. The other consideration I have is some hinges. So this is just a single hinge. It's too big for what I want it for now. So if I close up the box here, if this will close with all the stuff in it, there you go, look at that. Do it live, they said. So this is a little bit too big for that, but it's a similar sort of style. So I want to have the pin so that I can pick it up and take it out and whatever, blah blah blah. So I will get a smaller, two smaller hinges, put those either side, and I will have to create an indent in the baseboard for this to sit in. Because otherwise it will poke out. Or I'll put some, maybe I'll put some washers or something on here as well, just to take that out so it sits at the back, and so I can have that there. I don't plan on opening it while I'm on the layout, so that's perfectly fine. Then on the top, what will happen is the LCD screen will be up here. The push buttons will be, there will be like one will be here. I'll stick that like that. One will be there. The other push buttons hopefully will be in sort of here in a row of 10. And the idea is that each of those will be accompanied by an LED. And this is a two light LED, so you can see that it has can't remember exactly what the terminology is, but it's got two anodes and a cathode, so two in and one out, and the idea is that this will swap between green and red. It's not focusing at all, I'm sorry. There you are. It will swap between green and red depending on which power input is put in. So I need to get some resistors for these side, and then I can wire that up, and that will go just above, just for visual effect, it will go just above each turnout, so that I have a visual representation as to whether it's been thrown or closed. Now bear in mind, this is going to be version 1 of this control box. I do plan on doing a more elaborate thing later down the line with a lot more programming and things like that, but this is version 1. So without rabbiting on too much, what I'm going to do now is time-lapse me doing a load of wiring and putting stuff together, and you'll see it in a very short space of time. It might take me a few hours. We'll see how it goes. So, while we're on the subject of DCC controllers, I thought I would give a brief overview of what mine is. So this is an Arduino. In fact, it's an Arduino Mega by Eligu, and it's essentially a microprocessor. Essentially, you can get the smaller version, which is an Uno, or you can get the even smaller version, which is a Nano. And what this has on it is a motor shield, which takes an input voltage or an input of 19-volt input I have coming in here, and it has two channels of output, an A and a B, which are set to main and programming using the software. On top of this, I have a screw terminal shield. Otherwise, I'd have lots of little holes for DuPont connectors. And what I want to do is I don't want to use DuPont connectors. I want to create my own cabling, soldering and everything. So I have screw terminals for me to be able to do that, because I have lots of things that I need to bunch into certain places. So the idea is that, for example, I need quite a few, there's at least 3 5-volt connections here and only 2 pins. So I will have the terminal block, and I will have all the 5 volts go to one, and then one cable from the 5 volt go to the 5 volt screw terminal, stuff like that. Probably not the best solution, but that's what I'm going to have to deal with. And it's the same for ground. There's, each of the push buttons needs a ground, each of these need a ground, each of the LEDs need a ground, and so on. And there are only 2 pins for a ground, so I will do 2 sets of ground, each of those going to a certain pin. And that should give me plenty of room. Also, what I have on here is a ESP01 Wi-Fi chip. This allows me to, have the whole thing on my Wi-Fi, and that's how I use my throttle. I did consider doing Bluetooth, so I could do a wireless connection for any programming, but I have the USB cable that plugs in here. Sorry, keep it in frame. I have a USB cable that plugs in here, and that allows me to do any programming directly to the computer. And then I have a 9-volt power supply for the actual Arduino. So this entire thing is separate. It doesn't need to be connected to a computer to actually run. There is the program from DCC-EX already installed on this. I will leave a link to their website, and you can go and read up more about them. I won't go into coding or programming or anything like that. I will obviously show some brief overviews, and I will have a repository for all of the sketches that I use myself. But if you want to know more about it, I highly suggest going to the website and having a really good read. They keep it up to date, and it's a really good run through. Also, go and check out Jimmy DIY, also Driver D Trains as well. They do some great videos on DCC-EX, and setting it up and having it sorted. Right, enough rabbiting. I'm going to do some wiring.
So a slight pause in the time lapse here. I wanted to show you guys the power on, off and program main switches, where I will put them in, where the LCD screen will go, all the toggle switches for turnouts, and where the ghost image or the outline of the layout will go with corresponding LEDs for turnout positioning.
So here we have the finished front panel, 2 power buttons, the LCD screen, all the push buttons down the bottom, and in here I will get a printout of the layout but downsized to roughly these dimensions or somewhere to fit in the middle, and then I will drill the holes later for the LEDs that will go there, and I will draw some lines on here and make it a little bit pretty. So I'm going to give this an entire sand, get rid of the all the lines and everything as well, give everything a test fit, and we'll see how it goes. On this side, I've just done the holes for these, and I just need to cut out the power one here. So when that's back, all of this will be put back together, and I'll start putting components in. Okay, so here we are back together. The sections are already here, and this has been put together. Now if we open it up and we take the Arduino itself, we can see that it square lines up quite nicely. I'll give it a bit more of a powerful adjustment there so I can poke it through, but otherwise I'm quite happy with the placement. So for example, yeah, look at that. See if I shove that in there, look, you can see that it will go in there quite nicely, and there's enough room there for that. For those connections, we have a hole up here, and then the power cables will come through there, and there's plenty of room on the inside to wire those in, so I'm quite happy with that. I won't get around to fixing it down until I've got everything else in place. Next thing to try is the power switches, so it's a case of just popping those in, giving them a bit of encouragement to slot in place like that. Pretty happy with that. And then we have the switches here, look. So the way these loop on, and I'm hoping I've got this right, is that washer should sit on the bottom. This should poke up through the hole, a little bit wider for the screw. I might have to widen these holes out a little bit. Yep, let me widen these holes out a little bit to make sure we've got plenty of room, and I'll come back. Yeah, so I widened it to 6mm just to be safe, and that pokes through the hole there, and then the nut will sit on top, and we'll tighten it all into place. And the idea is that I want to have it so the polarity is sat. I want to have it so that the markers are left to right, and then I can tighten that accordingly. So let me go through and do all of these, and then I'll place the actually we can place the LCD in now. So the LCD will sit this way, like this. And it looks like a little bit of fettling might be needed. Yeah. Yeah, just a tiny bit of tiny bit off the top, and that'll be ready. So let me come back. So here we are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 switches there. The 10th one, I have no idea where it's gone. I'll have to either pick up another or hope I find it. Then we've got one power on, the program, and main. I might flip these around so that I know that main will be on when the light is on. No, I'll leave it like this so I know that it's program if it's programmed on. I will do some letters on here. I might even take it to my friends and have this burnt, but we'll see. Depends on how that goes. So now the LCD is in, it's wired up. The next task will be to create some cables for these and put this in here. So this video is already going on way too long, but you can see this is the idea that I have for the control box. Yeah, let me whisk you over to the layout. Let me whisk you over to the layout and show you where this will be set up. So I've got to hold you in one hand while I'm holding the box in another, but the idea is that this will sit here on the layout and allow full control through here. What I will do is, if I remove this, I will put a hinge like this on either side, and then between that I will put a large hole to go through the board so that I can run a plug connector in there, so that I can unplug and plug it and unplug it and everything while I'm doing that, and also so that I can properly feed the 3 wall warts up. So that's one for the servo driver, one for the Arduino, and one for the track power. Make sure that they can all come up safely, and then I can get on with properly wiring this lot. But that's for another video. So that's part 1 of the control panel. Part 2 of the control panel will be all the wiring and all the electrics. I will do a lot of the cutting and everything off camera so that we can just get there and put it all together. But otherwise, yeah. So there you are, guys. I hope you enjoyed this part 1 of the DCC controller. I think it looks rather nifty. A few bits that I will do off camera is get a printout ready for this, and drill the LED holes and get those in place. I just don't have the facility to be able to wire up the LEDs at the moment because I need some resistors, and also I haven't got a track layout, but I want to have the track layout there just because, you know, why the frick not. In the meantime, I will power up these switches and make sure everything else is set up, and then we can go from there. So yeah, if you liked it, let me know. If not, if you've got any comments on this, let me know as well. Subscribe for the next lot. This is probably going to be a 3-part, honestly. The next one, as I just mentioned, will be all the wiring and stuff, so I'll get that ready so we can do all the wiring together and you guys can see how that goes. And then the third will be installing it and having a play, honestly, having a proper play. But I'll do a little bit of a demonstration in the next one when everything is wired up as well, so you guys can see that happening too.